30 days. That's all you need to change the way the entire world sees you. And no, I'm not talking about plastic surgery or a new wardrobe. I'm talking about silent codes that women with generational wealth master, and that most others don't even realize exist. While you're trying to look elegant with an Instagram outfit, these women are operating on another frequency. A frequency that makes doors open, invitations appear, and opportunities manifest without apparent effort. They don't need to scream status, they whisper presence. And let me be brutally honest with you. I was that woman who thought a designer handbag would solve everything. I remember walking into a luxury boutique, swiping my card for a bag I absolutely couldn't afford, thinking, this is it. This is my passport to looking like I belong in this world. And you know what happened? For about 2 weeks, it worked. I felt different. I carried that bag like it was a trophy, until I walked into a luncheon and realized that nobody there cared. The women with real money were carrying bags I didn't even recognize, wearing jewelry that didn't scream brands. And it was there, in that awkward moment, that I understood. Elegance is an invisible code that I hadn't learned. I had bought the uniform, but I didn't know the language. Hello, I'm Carol, and if you're here, you probably already know what we do at Lucrative Elegance. We teach the visual, behavioral, and social codes of women who truly understand sophistication. And before you click away thinking this is just another one of those fake it till you make it videos, let me stop you right here. Click subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a like if you want to learn how to transform your elegance into something lucrative, because what I'm about to share will make you realize you've been approaching this completely wrong. Here's something they won't tell you in those expensive etiquette classes. The women you admire, those who walk into environments and command respect without saying a word, they didn't get there by accident. They follow a system, and this system can be learned in 30 days. But there's a catch, and it's a big one. You need to be willing to do things that will feel uncomfortable at first. You need to be willing to simplify when everyone else is adding more. You need to be willing to stay home reading while your friends are spending money they don't have on experiences they'll forget by Tuesday. Some people think they're elegant just because they have money. Others think they're rich just because they're paying off a lifestyle on credit cards. Neither has understood the game. The truly elegant woman doesn't need to prove she has money. She acts as if she always has. This confuses those who only know ostentation. Let me tell you about something that happened recently that made me realize how much we're going in the wrong direction. I was at an event and observed 2 women arriving. The first got out of an Uber wearing designer head to toe, every piece screaming the brand name. The second arrived in her own car, wearing a perfectly tailored navy blue blazer, pearl earrings, and carried herself as if she owned the building. And look, it wasn't just any blazer. It was one of those wool ones with perfect draping, discreet but clearly quality buttons, lined inside with silk that you only saw when she moved. Her perfume arrived before she did, something woody and discreet, probably from one of those perfume houses that have existed for 200 years and that you've never seen advertised. Her voice was low, controlled, never needed to raise her tone to be heard. Guess which one everyone wanted to talk to by the end of the night? The second woman was a board member of 3 major organizations. The first was trying to get a job. Same event, completely different results. And the fascinating part? The second woman probably spent 1/10 of what the first spent on her look. This is what I call the old money paradox. The old money aesthetic emphasizes quality over quantity, preferring classic and durable items while being environmentally conscious. But it's more than just about clothes. It's about reprogramming your entire approach to how you present yourself to the world. And I'm going to guide you through exactly how to do this in 30 days. But fair warning, this is going to require you to delete TikTok. Yes, I said that. And if you're already feeling defensive about it, you're exactly who needs to hear this message. Let me explain something nobody wants to admit. After the COVID pandemic, Americans' financial circumstances became increasingly divided, with the wealthiest Americans even better off than before. Translation? The gap is widening. But here's the good news. While you can't control your bank account overnight, you can absolutely control how you're perceived. And perception, my dear, is everything. It's the reason some women are invited to the right tables, introduced to the right people, and receive opportunities that others don't even know exist. While some buy the look of elegance, others live the behavior of elegance. And that difference? It's everything. So let's start with day 1 of your transformation, and this is going to hurt. You need to simplify your environment. I'm not talking about that Marie Kondo thing of thanking your socks. I'm talking about creating order that actually reflects how wealthy people live. Old money families choose to live modestly and avoid excessive spending, allowing them to allocate more resources to savings and investments. Your closet shouldn't look like a department store exploded in it. Your digital life shouldn't be 47 open tabs and 10,000 unread emails. Women with real sophistication operate in clean, organized spaces because chaos is expensive. Chaos makes you late. Chaos makes you forget important details. Chaos makes you look like you don't have your life under control, because you don't. And here's where it gets really interesting. While you're organizing your physical space, something happens to your brain. Studies show that to succeed in forming new habits, you must take them one at a time, stacking new habits each day. But everyone tries to change everything at once, which is why they fail by day 3. So day 1? Just organize. That's it. Resist the urge to also start a new diet, exercise plan, and meditation practice. Just organize. Now, days 2 through 30 is where the magic happens, but you have to trust the process. And the process involves reading. Not scrolling through articles about reading, not watching videos about books, actually reading physical books for 30 minutes every day. And before you roll your eyes, let me tell you something that will change your perspective. The reason wealthy women can hold conversations at dinner parties isn't because they're naturally more interesting. It's because they consume different content. This lifestyle values classic charm in every aspect, with appreciation of art and culture being essential. While you're watching reality shows, they're reading history, philosophy, literature, art. They're feeding their minds with depth, not trends. And when you can discuss the historical context of current events or reference classic literature in casual conversation, people notice. They remember you. They think you're someone worth knowing. I myself spent years watching all kinds of superficial series, thinking I was relaxing, until I started noticing that at dinner parties I had nothing interesting to say. Nothing. While other women talked about art exhibitions, books they were reading, cultural travels, I just sat there smiling and pretending to understand. It was humiliating, but it was also the push I needed. But here's the part that makes most people uncomfortable. You have to give up dopamine spikes. Old money associates focus with sophistication. Every time you check Instagram, every time you scroll TikTok, you're training your brain to need constant stimulation. And women with real sophistication? They're comfortable with silence. They're comfortable with boredom. They're comfortable sitting at dinner without checking their phone every 5 minutes. And this comfort is what separates them from everyone else at the table. It's what makes people lean in when they speak. It's what creates that magnetic quality you can't fake. Well-used silence is worth more than an entire speech. Let me tell you about table etiquette, and I promise this is more interesting than it sounds. Did you know that Princess Diana was known for her impeccable manners, but she didn't wear gloves because she liked to hold people's hands, and sometimes wore chunky jewelry so children could play with it? That's the kind of thoughtful elegance we're talking about. It's not about following rigid rules. It's about understanding the spirit behind the rules. When you know how to use your silverware properly, when your posture is correct without seeming stiff, when you can adjust the pace of your meal to match your companions, you're communicating something powerful. I belong here. I'm comfortable here. This is my level. And speaking of belonging, let's talk about something that will immediately elevate your social currency: hosting small gatherings. Not Instagram-worthy parties with 30 people and a bartender. I'm talking about inviting 3 to 4 people for dinner and having truly meaningful conversations. Old money is a culture marked by attitudes, behaviors, vocabulary, rituals, and customs. And one of those rituals is the intimate dinner. This is where relationships are built. This is where trust is established. This is where you demonstrate that you're someone who can create a comfortable environment, facilitate good conversation, and make people feel valued. And those people? They remember. They reciprocate. They include you in their circles. Now, I want to talk to you about something that will separate you from 90% of other women, and it's your posture. Every single day, you need to check your posture. Shoulders back, chin up, walk with intention. Old money grooming is polished but never excessive, and even casual clothes follow the same principles of care and quality. Here's why this matters more than you think. Your body language shapes how people perceive you before you even open your mouth. When you walk into a room with your shoulders hunched forward, looking at your phone, you're announcing to everyone there that you're insecure and don't belong. When you walk in with your head held high, making eye contact, moving with purpose, you create a completely different impression. People assume you're important. They assume you belong. They treat you accordingly. You don't need to look rich. You need to look like someone who was never poor. And let's talk about your signature. Every sophisticated woman has one. A signature fragrance, a signature piece of jewelry, something that becomes so associated with you that people remember. Think of Carolina Herrera and her impeccable white shirts, Anna Wintour and her dark sunglasses and bob haircut, Victoria Beckham and her neutral palette and perfect tailoring. In the old money aesthetic, choosing classic items adds depth without overwhelming. This isn't about being boring. It's about being memorable in the right way. When someone says, "Oh, she always wears that beautiful watch," or "Her perfume is so distinctive," you've created a brand. You've created recognition. You've become easier to remember and harder to forget. Trade the colorful phone case for a beige leather one. It seems like a detail, but the message changes completely. But here's where most women mess everything up completely. They don't have a personal dress code. They wake up every morning and start from scratch. What should I wear today? Does this match? Do I look good? It's exhausting, and it shows. Meanwhile, women with real style have created a uniform for themselves. For 2025, the old money aesthetic leans heavily on traditional fabrics like tweed, herringbone, and cashmere, with colors like beige, cream, navy blue, and olive green dominating. They have 15 to 20 pieces that all work together. Everything is high quality. Everything fits perfectly. Everything in neutral colors that never go out of style. And here's where it gets really interesting. When you have less but better, you actually look richer than someone with a closet full of trendy fast fashion. Speaking of which, let me tell you about my course, Look Rich Without Spending Much. And this isn't just another style course. This is the complete blueprint for understanding and implementing the visual, behavioral, and social codes that wealthy women use. Inside it, you'll learn exactly which pieces to invest in, how to buy quality, how to build a capsule wardrobe that works for your life, and most importantly, how to develop that intangible quality that makes people think you're someone important. The women who take this course stop being treated as if they were broke. They start being invited to better events. They start attracting different types of opportunities. Because when you look like you belong in elevated spaces, people assume you do belong. And now, I have a promotional price that, honestly, I shouldn't be offering. But I want you to have access to this information because it changes everything. This course isn't for those who want to look elegant on the outside. It's for those who want to live with elegance on the inside. The link is in the description, and if you've been watching these videos thinking, I need to finally invest in myself, this is your moment. Now let me tell you about something that seems simple but is really revolutionary. Improve your morning routine. Quality sleep is essential for physical and mental well-being, affecting various aspects of health from cognitive performance to mood and energy levels. Successful women don't wake up at any time. They wake up at the same time every day. They don't reach for their phone first thing. They start with sunlight, movement, and a measured cup of coffee or tea. This isn't about being perfect. It's about creating a foundation that supports everything else you're trying to build. When you start your day in chaotic rushing, you're late all day long. When you start with intention and calm, everything that follows becomes easier. And here's something that will immediately make you more sophisticated in conversations. Practice the 70-30 rule. Listen 70% of the time. Speak 30%. This aesthetic extends to lifestyle choices, with appreciation of art and culture being essential, and fine dining and preservation of traditions being key elements. Most people do the opposite. They wait for their turn to talk. They interrupt. They make everything about themselves. But when you really listen, when you ask thoughtful follow-up questions, when you show genuine curiosity about others, something magical happens. People think you're fascinating. They think you're brilliant. They think you're sophisticated, and all you did was let them talk about themselves. But here's the secret. You have to be genuinely interested. You have to ask good questions. What drew you to that is infinitely more engaging than just nodding. Now let's talk about verbal dexterity, and this is where most people completely fall apart. The old money embodiment requires cultivation, refinement, and deeply rooted practice, never forced elegance. Record yourself speaking. Yes, seriously. Listen to how many times you say like or you know. These verbal fillers are destroying your credibility. Every time you say like in a professional setting, you're telling people you're not confident in what you're saying. And here's the solution nobody tells you. Replace those fillers with silence. Pause. Breathe. Continue. That pause makes you sound thoughtful. It makes you sound measured. It makes you sound like someone who chooses their words carefully. And that's exactly how sophisticated women sound. People start to listen to you in a different way. You no longer need to shout to be noticed. The world responds better when you stop chasing and start behaving like someone who has already arrived. But here's the most important thing, the thing that will make or break your entire 30-day transformation. You have to actually want to change. Not because you're running away from something, but because you're moving towards something better. Because here's what I know after years of teaching this. The women who succeed aren't the ones with the most money or best education or perfect body. They're the ones willing to be uncomfortable. They're the ones who will delete the apps that waste their time. They're the ones who will show up every single day, even when they don't feel like it. They're the ones who understand that transformation isn't about perfection. It's about consistency, and that consistency is what creates that quality everyone notices but no one can name. It's what makes you stand out in a room full of people trying to be noticed. It's what makes opportunities find you instead of you chasing them. It's what makes people introduce you as, you have to meet her, she's amazing, even though they can't articulate why. Because you're operating on a different frequency. You're playing a different game. You're embodying a different set of values. Look, I understand. This probably sounds overwhelming. 30 days feels like both forever and insufficient time. But here's the truth. You're going to change anyway. The next 30 days are going to pass whether you do this or not. The only question is, who do you want to be on day 31? Do you want to be the same person you are today, consuming the same content, making the same mistakes, getting the same results? Or do you want to be someone different, someone who walks into environments with confidence, someone who commands respect without demanding it, someone other women look at and think, I want what she has? Because that's what this is really about. It's not about pretending to be rich when you're not. It's not about faking a lifestyle you can't afford. It's about understanding and implementing the codes that wealthy women use so you can create opportunities for yourself, so you can be taken seriously, so you can move through the world with the kind of ease and grace that opens doors. Let me do a quick recap of what we learned today because this 30-day transformation is going to change everything for you. First, simplify your environment because chaos is a luxury you can't afford. Second, read 30 minutes a day, not about trends, but about depth, history, philosophy, art, literature. Third, refine your table etiquette, because good manners are the access code to better tables. Fourth, organize small gatherings, build trust the old money way. Fifth, check your posture daily, because body language speaks before words. Sixth, create your personal brand with signature fragrance and accessory. Seventh, define your personal dress code, less but better. Eighth, improve your morning routine, because how you start determines how you finish. Ninth, practice the 70-30 rule in conversations. Listen more than you speak. 10th, limit artificial dopamine, delete TikTok, and limit social media. 11th, practice verbal dexterity. Replace fillers with thoughtful silence. And before we finish, I want you to consider becoming a member of our club. For just $4.99 a month, you have exclusive access to content that goes deeper than I can share in these videos. You have direct support. You have a community of women who are on the same path. This club isn't for those who want to look elegant on the outside. It's for those who want to live with elegance on the inside. Click the Become a Member button if you're serious about this transformation. One more thing. I just launched my digital book, Elegant Portraits with AI, with 100 prompts to transform your photos into professional and sophisticated portraits. In a world where your image is everything, having portraits that reflect the elevated version of yourself is non-negotiable. These aren't just filters. They're carefully crafted prompts that will make you look polished, refined, and expensive in every photo. The launch promotional price won't last, so grab it now. Link is in the description. If you liked this video, comment below which phrase impacted you most. Was it, well-used silence is worth more than an entire speech? Was it, you don't need to look rich, you need to look like someone who was never poor? Or was it, while some buy the look of elegance, others live the behavior of elegance? Comment your favorite, because I want to know what resonated most with you. Remember, in 30 days, you'll either be the woman who did the work or the woman who wished she had. The choice is yours.